Hello Internet, I'm HamsterBomb.
And I'm Zach.
And this is HITBOX, the gaming podcast where we talk about video games and all sorts of stuff that boils down to more video games.
It's like a worm eating its own tail or something.
Yeah, Ouroboros of unending content that nobody asked for. And we're here to provide that for you. Today...
This makes me question the validity of why I'm here today now.
Well, I need a second opinion on these things.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I spend all of the rest of my time playing with myself, but I can't get Bomb to sit in that chair for me. It's kind of hard to do.
Way to break the illusion, my dude.
It's kind of hard to do something like this with two versions of myself.
You're not trying hard enough.
I'm lonely enough as it is. So today, by the way, is actually episode 50 of HITBOX.
Hooray!
Yay, confetti!
Yeah.
If you could see it, and you may only be watching / listening to us. I know I am still trying to get this on streaming services, and Zach can attest to this. I have been trying.
Yeah.
It is a lot harder than you think, and a lot of places want to charge quite a bit of money to get this on certain places, and it would have been very easy had, long story short, Google not renewed my domain name for my website when I paid them to do so. Otherwise, my site would still be up and hosting all of my podcasts, and we'd never have this problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why all the podcast stuff kind of stopped, and HITBOX is so far just on YouTube. So I'm trying to get this fixed. Hopefully we'll at least have Spotify sometime soon. It's just going to take a lot of work, and we're working on a lot of stuff in the meantime, so...
I'm moving.
We're trying... Yeah. I'm planning a huge project, aside from getting... there's a lot of huge projects I'm doing. You'll find out eventually, but for now, we have hopefully the coziest and shortest HITBOX episode ever.
45 minutes.
Yes, it's probably like you're looking at the time already. It's gonna be way too long.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, today we are going to do the culmination of the Super Smash Brothers tournaments we've been doing. Now, not actual gameplay, like fighting each other tournaments sort of thing. We are just taking all of the Smash characters up to this point and saying who would actually win inside of their game world using their rules. If you controlled one character and I controlled the other, then who actually should win, you know, the majority of the time, and then try and press them on based on that. So no lore or anything, just gameplay. And up to this point, we have done 6 different videos on this, breaking down the entire roster of Smash Ultimate, just to use these characters as examples of, you know, ones that we can obviously showcase and say, like, okay, who would actually win in these kinds of fights in the gameplay? And we're gonna take just the winners of those last 6. So sorry, spoiler alert, these were the last 6 winners. You probably had your chance to listen to those episodes, and if not, you can go back and take a look and see why any of these characters would have won. And weirdly enough, we didn't notice until we sat down to do this today. For some reason, there are 2 Pokemon characters, 2 Final Fantasy characters, and 2 Metroid characters.
Yep.
And all of which we have 1 protagonist and an antagonist.
Funny how that works out.
For each. That's so weird. Everything else, nothing else mattered, and the rest of this, it all boiled down to basically RPGs, really powerful characters in RPGs, and Metroid. Yeah. Just how ridiculously overpowered Samus and Ridley gets to deal with Samus.
Right. Well, the thing we found as we were going through all this is that it's not so much about who... Oh, I'll wait.
Yeah, shuffle. Yeah, not about who?
I don't... It came down to who had the most versatile move set
to deal with any random character, because we will shuffle these, as you see. We don't want it to be completely biased of who we're putting against who. You would think I would be biased of the Metroid characters winning, but no. It really came down to who has the most answers to deal with other characters.
Exactly.
And some of the surprising ones that had lost that weren't here were like Shulk. I would think Shulk would go all the way, right? Because Shulk can, not only is he an RPG character with a ton of versatility, but he can literally see the future, and he knows what you're going to do to stop him.
Or Bayonetta with her witch time and
exactly.
all that.
And in both of those instances, I don't want to spoil in case you haven't seen them, it's all based on who they get paired up against, and can they deal with that particular threat and the best thing that they can do against them.
Exactly,
And yeah, and that's just kind of how it fell down. And in which, in that same instance, looking at these characters that we have here going into this, which, by the way, we didn't even really mention them in case you didn't see them. We have the Pokemon Trainer and Mewtwo for the Pokemon ones. We have Samus and Ridley for our Metroid characters, and Cloud and Sephiroth for our Final Fantasy characters. So if any of them get paired up in ways that don't make sense, well, that's the way that it worked, and it was all random, and it was not based on us.
Exactly.
We're doing our best here. Once again, I am going to be the character on the left, and Zach will be arguing for the character on the right. And oh boy, we have 2 JRPG characters, leaders, button-up heads right away. way, it's probably for the best.
JRPG man.
This is probably for the best. All right, here we go. So, who actually wins in an RPG battle turn-based when you have a Pokemon trainer versus Cloud Strife?
Now, are we going with Cloud having a Pokemon team, or is it just Cloud?
It's just Cloud.
Okay.
Now, he has summons.
Yeah, that's true.
But the thing is, and this was been probably why Cloud was able to overcome so many of those other characters up to this point. Cloud uses those summons, and now he does have a gauge that has to fill up before he can just, like, unleash Knights of the Round is usually our answer. But the thing is, I think this might be the one that breaks Cloud, and I'm gonna say why as the Pokemon trainer.
Why is that, sir?
Because I have multiple Pokemon. Who cares if you Knights of the Round my Squirtle? I now switch to Ivysaur and revive my Squirtle. I think this actually beats Cloud.
How many Phoenix Downs do I have? All of them.
Yeah, well, how many Max Revives do I have? All of them.
Yeah, so
we'll have the same problem here.
Yeah, exactly. Do we just want to, like, cut the items out?
It's kind of hard to say. Like, you still have access to Phoenix Downs, and as do I, but the thing is, what good is a Phoenix Down for you if you don't have a party?
Well, like I've said before, one of my favorite broken combos with the summon system is Phoenix on self when death, basically.
Okay.
You know?
Does that, now, I've only played, like, the Midgar segment of the original and the remake, so that's not something I'm familiar with. Is that something that you can do, like, do you have to switch out your summon so you can't use Ifrit or Knights of the Round or something?
Depending on the
Bahamut, whatever.
Depending on the equipment you have, you can actually have nothing but summons, and they can all be linked. So,
oh boy.
Yeah, so like the
linking
ultimate
materia
armor
is ridiculous.
Yeah, so the ultimate armor and the ultimate sword for Cloud is like 8 or 10 slots or something like. I think it's 8, and each of them are linked.
That's well, of course. I mean, you worked hard for that stupid thing. Well,
yes, you do.
The Pokemon Trainer's bag never needs an upgrade. Well, it depends on which game we're talking about. If we're talking about Red and Blue, oh boy, did it need an upgrade. It was you could only carry like 15 items, and you had to go back to the box.
It was like 50, I think.
I don't think it was that many.
25 then?
It was very few.
Yeah, I think it was like 25 max.
Yeah, like if you went through if you went through like Silphco and you picked up every single item with an empty bag, I think you would still have to leave and come back in and get the rest of the stuff, because you wouldn't be able to carry like the key card and stuff to actually beat the puzzles. Whatever, that's neither here nor there. The later Pokemon games, and I could be any of the Pokemon trainers, it doesn't matter. All that really matters is I am a character who has access to a wonderful bag and can switch Pokemon.
Yep, exactly.
So, Cloud has never really faced anything that can completely yoink itself out of battle, throw in another threat, completely heal itself, and then come right back in to fight you again.
I think he's dealt with, or there have been Final Fantasy monsters where they can blow your party away, and then they can just run away, but that's not how it works in Pokemon
Exactly,
land.
You're still here. Now, the only thing that is going to make this a little difficult is you're using an ATB system, and Pokemon is strictly turn-based.
Right, so
we could just say, let's just make it turn-based, because ATB is really the same as turn-based. It's just got the
It just adds a bit more action and, like, time limit. It's a time pressure add that they add, which really heightens the feel of the games.
If anything, we'll just say that ATB has maybe a higher speed stat for Cloud, and he will go first over all these Pokemon, and still I don't think it matters.
Honestly, if we just put it as, like, turn by turn, like, blow by blow, that still is fine. I mean, we've done that in Final Fantasy before, so it's no big deal. Because that's what we've had to do throughout this whole series, is that, well, how do we adjust each character to fit into the other world? Like, you know, like if we had Mega Man versus, I don't know, Shulk, how would Shulk work as a Mega Man boss?
Exactly,
and vice versa. So.
And this is actually an easy one to look at right here. So Charizard as a Final Fantasy boss. Easy one, because Bahamut has been a boss for them. Even if you want to go to Behemoth. There's all sorts of large, just maybe even dragon-like creatures. There's dozens of them. That's simple. And to level one up to level 100 and give it the ability to heal on top of that makes it a little disgusting. It almost doesn't even matter how strong Charizard is, as long as or any of these Pokemon. As long as this is not Smash 4 and I am just Charizard, then I would say, oh yeah, no question, Cloud wins. We'll move on. Because Cloud can do that. Because Cloud can heal himself, but Charizard by himself doesn't have any healing moves. If anything, he has moves that hurt himself. He can Flare Blitz and will just keep taking extra damage.
Yeah, I did. Oh, yeah, that's right. I never noticed that before.
Yeah, they even did that in Smash Brothers as well. He will take extra damage just for even doing it and missing.
Oh, okay.
He'll take damage for hitting you as well. It's supposed to be like a recoil thing, like takedown.
Yes,
but it's fire type and much stronger than that. So in terms of actual Final Fantasy, we could even go to say that, let's say Cloud is able to one-shot kill Squirtle. Even if you're able to one-shot kill Squirtle, I don't think that Cloud still has a chance.
Well, I mean, typing is still a thing, you know, and if you really wanted to prep for this,
what
even
kind of type would Cloud be?
Oh, goodness.
I mean, he's hitting you with a sword, so would he be steel?
He might be like steel fighting, but he can also use magic.
Yeah, you better hope he's not steel, because if he is, then I'm pretty sure... No, I'm not positive about how this works with steel and resistancing by other types, but Squirtle for sure resists steel, so now you can't one-shot him with that. I think Charizard does too. I'm pretty sure fire resists steel. I could pause and like fact-check myself. Hey, this video is going to be short enough anyway, let me do it. So it looks like steel moves, I was correct, are not very effective against fire or water. There's also electric and steel, but I'm not going to be dealing with those. This Pokemon trainer, I'm going to just honor what they have here. Though the Pokemon trainer, as we know, could have anything. I could have had a Mewtwo. I could have had a Greninja or an Incineroar, or any type of Pokemon that you could have picked. But I'm going to stick with this team because honestly, I don't even think I need a new one.
That's fair.
So,
but what I was going to get with typing is that, you know,
your magic.
Even in Final Fantasy, typing is a thing. So water monsters are weak to lightning magic. You know, ice monsters or water monsters.
Yeah,
you know,
Charizard would be weak to lightning as well as water.
Yeah. Exactly, you know, the Ice 2 and all that, Firaga and all.
I still don't know how far it would get you, because for Cloud to win, I want to make sure that we go through all of this just to make sure that we can move on. For Cloud to win, you would have to be able to reliably one-shot kill every single Pokemon I have. And do it one turn after another, because then I have no way... Well, even if you did, and I just... Well, then I'm max reviving and I have no way to deal damage to you, which means you couldn't win. Right. So if that is the only case, the only way you could win is by one-shot killing each one of them. The answer is start with Squirtle. I'm assuming you're going to start with your big boom.
Yeah.
Squirtle's out. Coming with an Ivysaur, I wouldn't think you would be able to one-shot this.
Probably not.
Probably not. Their line was a little more defensive. Also, I mean, sure, you could have fire magic, but I'm not sure how much stuff you're packing with you if you want to have all these answers.
Right, exactly. No, that's the problem. Because like I said, I think with the Ultimate Armor, it's only 8 slots per, and so you would have 8 total combinations to work with. Now, since it's one-on-one, though, I really could put all of the typing effective moves and, like, even though they would be linked, I don't need to worry about putting an all on each of the things.
Sure.
You know, so.
I'm just wondering, like, what's a better strategy for you with those materia slots? Is it going with the best summons to try in one-shot? Because you'd have to be one-shot... Well, hold on. You'd have to wait for that summon to come back. You can't just keep using the summon.
You can in the original.
You can?
Yeah, as long as you got the magic points.
Okay, so...
I'm pretty sure.
Well, then your magic points for those summons would have to outweigh 99 max repels.
Yeah, exactly.
Which it just won't.
This is the problem we get to.
This would be an extremely boring battle to actually watch, by the way.
It really would
be so boring.
Item.
Oh yeah, it'd be Pokemon Trainer, item like crazy until Cloud can't one-shot kill somebody, and then there's an attack that goes through, and then more items.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying, do we want to just take items out of the equation totally, then?
Out of curiosity, if we did, that means you lose your materia, don't you? Or is that just a part of what you are? Because Pokemon don't have anything like that.
Right.
Other than just like, this is like, flamethrower, I have that.
If we're in Pokemon world, I'd honestly say those would be innate parts of Cloud.
Then I would say Cloud has 4 moves. Okay, so what would your 4 moves be? And I would assume a summon wouldn't make any sense in that. Well, what can Cloud do?
Right.
Would you want like a Firaga for Ivysaur, a Blizzaga for Ivysaur, Thundaga for Squirtle?
Yeah, Blizzaga for
a cure.
Charizard.
You need some sort of cure.
Yeah,
Curaga.
Yeah, Curaga. So, I mean, but still, though, even at level 100,
You're still by yourself, and you have to deal with all three, though. That's the thing. And if they just wail on you, just you have to go down.
Right. Well, and I was going to say too, level 100 Pokemon can be pretty tanky, right?
Yeah, they're really tanky, and they're also pretty dumb because they don't really balance in the way that other RPGs would balance as well.
Right.
So you think of, like, for example, if you ever got to play against Trainer Red at the end of Pokemon Gold and Silver,
yes.
His team is about 10 levels above the best that you would have dealt with in the second round of the Elite Four at that point.
Yes.
Which you feel. Because up to this point, you don't really get a chance to see that, and he's still 20 levels below max.
Yep.
So you feel how... And he fights with a Pikachu, for crying out loud, for his first one, just to show you, like, oh, he is starting with a Pikachu, so it's not even a fully evolved Pokemon. It's at level 88.
Uh-huh.
And it's ridiculously powerful.
Yes, sir.
So even just dealing with a Squirtle at level 99, or, I'm sorry, do they actually get to 100? I think they do.
They can, yeah.
Yeah, I think they actually hit 100. It's not like one of those RPGs where you stop at 99.
Right.
Yeah, they're ridiculously powerful. Their stats are, their defenses are ridiculous, and I think some of the newer ones will actually, like Legends Arceus, actually made it so you can fight like a level 15 Pokemon against like a level 30, and the fight is still sort of balanced.
Right.
Stats mean less. In the older games, or basically any of the other ones, you just get a flat increase in your stats, and you're just better.
Yeah.
So instead of thinking it like early game, you have 2 levels on me. That's a discernible percentage difference you have above me.
Yeah.
Later Pokemon, it's not so much. It's just like, no, their numbers are just cranking up constantly.
Right.
And enemies in Final Fantasy don't really do that. They're mostly scaled to deal with, well, a party to try and attack sweeping groups of your party members. But, I mean, even if you had a party, Squirtle would have, like, Surf and ways to deal with multiples at once.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, in 2-on-2 battles, some of those moves are devastating.
There's no way we're going to be stuck on this one matchup for the entire time. Zach, we're already like 15 minutes into this.
The more you're talking about it, because Cloud by himself, again, is one of those characters that's balanced around a party of 3 and the ability to switch out materia, which in a Pokemon battle, unless if you just start...
He's stuck in the battle.
Yeah, exactly.
But whereas Pokemon Trainer's just got that bag, and he's got everything he's ever picked up.
And if we put Pokemon in a Final Fantasy game... 3 monsters versus 1 hero.
3 monsters that cooperate and take turns.
Right, exactly. So, even then, I think that would be an awfully hard...
Sorry.
face kick. But
you wouldn't hurt this little guy. Squat!
Yeah, but I don't know. I think, as weird as it might sound, I kind of might think Pokemon Trainer?
I think the Pokemon Trainer would win, yeah.
Oh god, that feels
It's hard
weird.
to say, because you have the power, for sure.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
like if it was just like a home run contest of power matchups, yes, Cloud wins. But if we're talking about like who would actually win this fight, Pokemon Trainer can outlast Cloud.
Right.
Which, unfortunately, is all that matters.
Oh no, I got my limit break. Don't you? Oh no. Bye guys. Back down into the live stream I go.
Yeah, again.
Again, yeah.
Again.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, in terms of lore, no chance. But still, this is just mechanically in the game. And if I was controlling a Pokemon Trainer maxed out, and you were controlling just Cloud by himself, I don't think Cloud could do it. So
right, and then we get a freebie.
Hey, he managed to get here, so
that's true.
Still, oh dear, now we're talking some weird matchups.
Huh.
Okay, so I am going to be controlling Mewtwo, and Zach, you have Samus.
Who you can actually, call Metroid.
That's true. You can now finally call Metroid.
Oh, God. Anyway.
Not spoilers from a certain new Metroid game. And now you're going to deal with this totally not alien invading monstrosity that needs to be eradicated.
Right. Okay, so how do we go about this?
Lore-wise, this would be such a cool fight.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
I know. Because this would be an incredibly intense matchup.
Oh my god, that would be a lot of fun. Someone mod this game
I know,
include this.
And make it, an Armor Mewtwo versus Samus.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
Like he looks like in the movie with the visor and all that.
Yeah.
And then his second phase, he throws it off.
Well, yeah, because it's supposed to be like limiting him.
Yeah,
He's supposed to be much weaker with that on, or in Team Rocket's control.
Yes.
So anyway, sorry, we're
childhood fantasies.
We like video games.
Yes.
So
do we want to start this as a Metroid fight?
Let's try and do that first. I'm trying to think of a way to even put Mewtwo in a fight like that, but we'll figure it out as we go.
I would almost equate him to like almost an end boss.
How about this? The way that I can move and jump around in Smash Brothers is kind of faithful to what Mewtwo already can do. Yeah. I can teleport. Yes. I can just reflect stuff. I have barriers, whatever.
And sidekick and all that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. I have different projectiles. We'll just stick with what I have here, and we'll see if Samus in Metroid, probably Super. Which one do you think? Well, Dread. It's gonna be the end of Dread.
Yeah,
the ending of Dread
at this point. Yeah, Mewtwo is also evolved over the.
Yeah, that's how she got here. Was either the end of Dread or the end of Super.
Yeah,
they're both ridiculously powerful. But I think the end of Dread was a little more ridiculous.
Oh my God! Yeah.
So let's stick with that. So say that's what Mewtwo has to deal with right now. Now I get to be a maxed out Mewtwo.
Yeah.
So I can recover.
Exactly.
I can throw up barriers. Now they're not like repelling. I don't have like mirror coat or anything like that.
Right, exactly.
Because boy, that would shut Samus down instantly. Could you imagine?
Yeah, I can.
You shoot that unstoppable laser at me, and it finally meets that unstoppable or that unblockable force, and comes right back.
Ooh.
The end.
Newton's laws, friends.
But no, I am not a Wobbuffet. I am a Mewtwo.
Right, exactly.
Oh boy. So if that's the case, Mewtwo's not fast enough to dodge that. Even if for some silly reason he does no teleport.
The way I kind of imagine it is like a mix between like the final fight in Dread and the final fight in Super. Kind of a mix of both, where, you know, with Mother Brain and Super, how she has all those weird psychic projectiles and energy beams, where the final fight in, like, Metroid
it's like just
Dread.
Dodge these things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I could see that Mewtwo just kind of like throwing these things out at you.
Yeah.
And then we'll just say it's based on your evasiveness.
Yeah.
We'll just say that's Samus's like dexterity to dodge these things.
Yeah, it's definitely a skill battle than it is just like a health check or a missile check.
Right. Yeah. Now Mewtwo is still. I'm not sure if they've held up on this without any funny business of alternate forms or anything like that. Just the base vanilla Pokemon, if you add their stats up together, I'm pretty sure Mewtwo is still the most powerful Pokemon ever. And here's a wonderful fact check from the future. Mewtwo is actually tied with a lot of legendaries that came later with a total of 680 base stats. However, Arceus actually does outpace him by just a little bit, but technically it is no longer Mewtwo as the strongest single Pokemon. Point invalid!
Holy jeebus.
Now there's other forms that like outclass him. There's like Mega forms and stuff like that. I think like the Ultra Necrozma thing is also stronger too, but that's only that form. Like base Necrozma, at best things could match him, and I think he outclassed them. So I'm still dealing with statistically the most ridiculous you could ever get, maxed out to 100.
Yeah.
So this fight will take Samus a long time.
Yeah, and
to chisel away this health. Just because I don't look like the ginormous Mother Brain monstrosity, this fight's gonna take a while.
Yeah, right. Now, and like I said, he's
especially with Recover.
Yeah, and he's like not gonna probably be as agile as the final boss in Dread is.
You're dodging me really well right now, just proving how this is not going to go so well for me attack-wise.
Right. Yeah, I wasn't even trying. I'm not.
I know you weren't even trying, and I didn't even hit you yet. You're still at 0. I'm throwing Shatter Balls at him while he's just jumping.
Yeah. But that's the way I would envision it going down, and I still think Samus, with all of that, even being thrown at her...
Screw Attack.
Yeah, that's the thing.
What happens when Mewtwo gets hit with Screw Attack?
He would still be taking damage, though. That's the problem.
Absolutely. Oh, that's gonna hurt, but... Are you invincible during Screw Attack?
You are.
Because certain boss fights, I know you can still take damage in Screw Attack, but it's rare when that actually happens.
Like against the Mother Brain and Super. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Mewtwo is one of those cases. Let's just say no, because they tend to be really special cases when that happens.
Yeah.
Or they have a good reason.
Yeah, like the final boss in Dread. Yeah.
I think just base Ridley could do it. You had Screw Attack by that point, and just Super Metroid Ridley could cut through those, so he's just an alien. So how about, we'll say that Screw Attack does not protect Samus.
Okay, yeah, that's fair, Okay. Yeah, because that would just negate almost everything he can do.
Ridley and Mewtwo are very similar, and I'm actually kind of glad we didn't just get, like, Cloud versus Sephiroth, Mewtwo versus Pokemon Trainer. That made this much more interesting, I'm just realizing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, that is a good thing.
But
so
honestly,
this fight, what happens?
I would say that Samus would probably still kind of come out on top.
In the end?
In a Metroid fight.
With those reserve tanks and all the extra energy. Yeah, I don't think Mewtwo
So I'm assuming you're like going for a 100% completionist run.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course. I mean, we're assuming that Mewtwo's level 100.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
yeah, you need to be maxed out on all your stuff. And you got power bombs, too.
Yeah, power bombs, super missiles, all the beams. And all that.
Let's depending on which game we're in. Yeah.
I mean, it would be a tough fight, as a final boss should be, but I don't think it would be enough to take down Samus.
I think she'd be able to do it as well.
Stuff she's gone through.
Well, also, assuming we're playing in the ending of Super Metroid or Dread, I don't even see you losing in the Metroid suit.
No, exactly.
I don't think it's possible.
But what about in a Pokemon battle?
Yes,
though?
let's switch it around. So, Samus, let's pick 4 moves to you. What's your best things you got? Let's say Screw Attack, Super Missile, Power Bomb,
and her one of her beams, like her Plasma Beam.
Whatever you call that, Hyper Beam.
Oh, the Hyper Beam.
Let's just say the Hyper Beam.
Yeah.
And we know that Hyper Beam comes out basically frame 1.
Well, that's more of a story thing, though. I would say almost like a mix between, like in Super, like her Ice Plasma Wave combo or whatever.
Well, it's called Hyper Beam in Super, and I think it's still called Hyper Beam in Dread. It's still just, it is just the type of beam that she gets.
Right, because the way I always understood Hyper Beam was like at the end of Dread, not the end of Dread, but Super, when the baby Metroid, gives it to you and all that.
Yeah, it really is part of a Metroid's ability, but that's what the ending of Dread is. We don't want to spoil Metroid Dread. I'm sorry, we're getting we're cutting close there. We won't get any closer. We're sorry about that.
Yeah, I will put up spoilers.
That's still a relatively new game. So, but still, the end of it, I still think that is part of Samus's repertoire, and you very fairly can have a Hyper Beam.
Oh, hey, that's actually the name of a Pokemon move, too.
It is. Though, I was even thinking of that, I don't think Mewtwo should have that, because if I do well in that one, it's not Psychic type, I'm not getting stabbed, so it's not stronger, and also I have to wait the next turn after I shoot it, and I only get 5 of them. And if we're really going to be playing the PP counter, which we're not going to do that, then I would run out faster and eventually start struggling to death, even if I managed to cut through your defenses.
Right, and that's just it. Samus would probably have a ridiculous amount of defense as well because of her Chozo armor.
Yeah, and speed.
Oh god, yeah. The speed boost ability. As weird as it is to say, but I'm kind of thinking Samus has this.
I kind of think Samus does too. I mean, Mewtwo's ridiculous in Pokemon, but he's... You know what's even crazy? He's made to be the ultimate fight in Pokemon. Well, if I had, like, thrown that thing back at you, then we would have had some issues, but...
Yeah.
And we just saw how the Pokemon Trainer could win, but I think the Pokemon Trainer won because of the trainer itself.
Yes,
the fact that you have all that extra versatility. It doesn't matter how powerful the Pokemon is, and we talked about this with Cloud.
Yeah.
If it was just Charizard, just Mewtwo, Cloud's still gonna win. You still have, like... these are designed to be, like, unstoppable forces, and Mewtwo is as well. Lore-wise, that's another interesting... thing. I don't know what would happen.
It would be that unstoppable force meeting an immovable object.
It really is, and it might even be Samus again in lore. If we're just looking at like Dread Samus, what is Mewtwo gonna do? He's gonna melt.
He would,
because like an X Parasite meeting a Hyper Beam melts. There's
spoilers.
But still, like what on earth could Mewtwo do?
I have no idea.
I think, I think this is just the end for Mewtwo.
That feels weird.
I will die on my own basis over here. That does feel really weird.
Yeah.
But I think in both instances, that Hyper Beam and Screw Attack
decimates everything.
Yeah, she is like unstoppable force and kind of the immovable object, even if Mewtwo is allowed to cut through.
She literally is, I think, the most powerful being in the galaxy.
I think I'm pretty sure she even canonically is supposed to be, and that's why that she's such a high commodity for the Galactic Federation to go after.
Right.
All right, we're already in the finals. Look at this, Zach. We're only at halftime. We could do this.
Okay, cool.
Hey, we swapped villains.
Hey!
Next is the Pokemon Trainer versus Ridley.
Oh my god, okay.
But this time, no, actually it's the same. I still have the Pokemon character, and you still have the Metroid character.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right.
so...
How do?
Well, let's not think about how Cloud just did this. We're going to, well, should we do the RPG second again? Because I think let's do the actiony thing first. So we don't really have a game
there's been like rooms in Metroid where you actually had to fight a few tough enemies in a single room to open up the door.
Absolutely. Samus can easily handle that.
Right. Now, Ridley, I mean, has given Samus trouble, and sometimes in some of the Metroid games, he's the boss I have the most trouble with at times.
I think he's designed to be, which is good. I like someone feeling like they're that regular antagonist that is always, like, just beating you down, especially in Super. I love that in Super he's so tough, and he's not the final boss.
Yeah.
He's actually just kind of there.
Exactly.
He just kind of shows up, but like he got you in this situation, and you're fighting him because you're like,
he's got
Ridley.
He's got the baby. I gotta get the baby.
He took the baby. So, assuming that this is going to be inevitably a one-on-one fight anyway, even though I'm allowed to switch, forgetting the fact that you are supposed to be so powerful, you're a replacement for Samus, who can deal with what we just discussed.
Yeah. Oh, I've never noticed that. DDD floats in the background.
He did that on the N64 as well.
Oh, that's cute.
I believe he was supposed to be in the game as well, and since he was a cut character, they put him in the background.
Oh, that's cute. Anyway, sorry. That's aside,
Anyway, I guess you can only really see it now because it's in high definition.
Yeah, I think so.
We're on the N64 Kirby stage. We probably should have mentioned that King DDD actually floats in the background of the stage.
Yeah,
sorry. Ivysaur and Ridley got distracted for a moment between their fight. Now
there's a balloon.
There was a little butterfly back there. Okay, let's get back to our fight.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna do running around and jumping at stuff, I could probably say let's stick with Charizard. I think he's in that Tekken game, right?
He's in the Pokken tournament. Yeah.
So if I'm in Pokken tournament, Ridley doesn't really. Because I was thinking, like, maybe we could take Meta Ridley from Prime, and we'll do a 3D fight.
Maybe.
But Charizard's nothing like that, and his strength is all about being an RPG boss.
Exactly, yeah.
Actually, they're kind of, like, aesthetically similar, too. These
really elongated heads and really lanky kind of,
fire-breathing space dragon-looking thing.
Oh, yeah. That's very true. But in a Metroid game, though, I still think even if he was taking them on, even together...
Yeah, even as the trainer, I'm trying to think, like, what would the trainer... Okay, well, you know what? Maybe this is the closest thing. You know in Brawl in the Subspace Emissary, you play as Pokemon Trainer, you move from one area to another?
Yeah.
So say that's how you're playing Metroid. The Pokemon Trainer just kind of teleports and just appears next to you, and you're just kind of, like, watching them back there.
Yeah.
But you're really just playing as the Pokemon. So let's assume that is how this is working.
Okay.
So maybe, once again, we'll have to, like Mewtwo, use the Pokemon as is in this.
Yes.
And let's assume that they're fighting Super Metroid Ridley.
Which is basically who this guy is, yeah.
Or if there's other spoilers, I'm sorry, there's just like going to be minor spoilers for other games in here, but it's been long enough, you had your chance to play it. We're going to say the 3DS Samus Returns.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is a final boss, Ridley. So say we're actually dealing with that, and I have Charizard, and if Charizard's defeated, I could switch, or, one of them's, whatever. Even if someone's not defeated, I can throw items at them, but that does take time. Let's just say to do, like, an item or something, I'd probably have to, like, stop and go back to the Pokemon Trainer or something like that, or maybe I'll have to retreat. Probably retreating, but still, like, the Pokemon in the Pokemon universe, they can't act on the turn that you chose to use an item.
Correct.
So, and most RPGs are like that too. That's kind of your punishment for spamming items. And that's a good thing. It should be there. Even though it doesn't really make any sense. It's not like the Pokemon Trainer's back there, like, trying to, like, treat his Charizard and be like, Squirtle, just keep using Surf or something.
Yeah, right.
Or just dodge his attack, Squirtle. That has nothing to do with what's actually happening on screen. So if you want to get those heals off, Squirtle has to stop moving.
Exactly.
Which means that he's going to get wailed on by Ridley.
Yeah. He would be gone,
Ridley does spend a lot of his time flying away from you, and you kind of have to chase him.
Yeah, because that's his whole shtick. He's an airborne enemy. He's supposed to be annoying and powerful. That's the thing.
He swoops in to fight you like a hawk.
Yeah.
He comes in when he wants to. He's the predator.
Because in Super Metroid, he's kind of like almost a missile check, and if you don't have enough super or even regular missiles...
You have to charge beam him, which takes forever.
Yeah, and even with that, he takes a long time, and I don't know if some of these moms would have enough, power points to be able to pull off enough damage.
Or get close, because if we are talking Super, there's this really weird thing in Super where there's two ways to defeat Ridley. You can actually, like, outclass him with a missile check and just, like, obliterate him and he will blow up. Or get him close enough and he will grab you, hold you over the stage, and he'll run out of energy and start blowing up and then fall down and you're able to survive.
Yes.
So it's one of the other two. So I could, like, slowly outlast him to get him to that point where he's got to grab me if we're going to stick with Super. Or we're going to have to deal with the fact that, no, I'm going to have to outpower you and kill you that way.
Do you have the ability to outlast basically a juggernaut of a space pirate?
Yeah, and I really don't know, because these Pokemon, I can't really see any of them really jumping well. You know, I'm just saying.
No. The only one who probably would be able to...
is Charizard.
Yeah, it's Charizard.
Especially Ivysaur. This sucker's not leaving the ground.
Ivysaur's got his...
This is probably the best I could do. It's like a couple feet.
Well, and he's also got his Seed Shot and his Vine Whip ability, so he's not completely...
Yeah.
And, you know, you've got Water Gun and Surf and Hydro Pump and all that with Squirtle.
But like, again, Ridley just needs to skewer with his tail. I feel like those other two, like Squirtle and Ivysaur, even if... Pokemon Trainer is exclusively using them against Ridley.
Yes.
What's he gonna do when it comes time to actually, like, switch to Charizard and deal the damage to Ridley? Because say Squirtle and Ivysaur really just sit there to heal Charizard.
Yes.
And if that's truly all that they're for, then maybe...
Maybe. I think in the Metroid department, Ridley has this.
I think you might be right, because Pokemon Trainer's, like, he's lost everything that was going for him up to this point.
Yeah, now if we go to his realm of speciality...
let's pick your moves.
Oh, my lord.
Well, Tail Skewer, maybe? Fly. Yeah, Fly. That's that's a potent one.
Yeah.
Definitely some sort of Fire Blast or Flamethrower.
Yeah, I'd almost say... Let's see.
It's so much scarier than that, though, what he does.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? That slash he does, that has an after image in Samus Returns, that is the most powerful attack I think I've ever seen in any Metroid game.
Yeah,
I played on Fusion Hard Mode, and I'm pretty sure that's a one-shot kill, or something close to it, with maxed out stuff, by the way.
Why do you do that to yourself?
I love Metroid games.
I understand,
I love video games in general.
There's a point.
I know, there's a point where I should just stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, darn it, I fought to get that Metroid amiibo, so I was gonna use it. I was gonna do it. Anyway, so let's just say, what's that Dragon Claw? Dragon Claw.
Yes.
Let's just call that Dragon Claw.
For all intents and purposes,
right, he would probably be Flying Dragon type, right?
That's what I would say.
Okay.
He's a space dragon. That's really what he is.
Shoot, meaning you're Dragon type, and you resist fire, grass and water. Oh no. And with all three of those, Pokemon Trainer, I think, has just met his match.
Yeah.
This isn't working.
No matter what we try to think of, I think Ridley just...
That's so weird. Like, you wouldn't think Ridley would be the one.
Right.
Even if I'm able to switch and heal, I can't deal that kind of damage to Ridley.
No, and that's just it. He's meant to be... He's the leader of the Space Pirates under Mother Brain for a reason.
Yeah, that endgame power. Pokemon just doesn't get to that level, even if you max your Pokemon out.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
God, yeah.
I'm really shocked by that one. I thought Pokemon Trainer is one of those all-the-way contenders, because he's so busted.
Yeah, it's one of those situations
where it's like,
oh no. Okay. It's one of those situations where it just feels weird to say that Pokemon Trainer loses to Ridley.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Just completely skewers him and...
Yeah.
All right, well, we're in this lovely Magicant World of Dreams as we now discuss Samus versus Sephiroth.
Another alien.
Another alien. Fighting another alien.
Yeah.
Hey, Samus is now more alien than human.
At this point, yeah.
At this point, yeah. I mean, I don't know what kind of concoction is going on inside her genes.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, that poor woman is just a primordial soup of DNA at this point.
She absolutely is.
Anyway,
so what do we do first? We tend to do the RPG second at this point, so how about we do the action parts first?
Yeah, let's do the Metroid part first.
Yeah, so Sephiroth is no stranger to this, so we could even say like a Dissidia Sephiroth.
Yeah, that's fine.
If we just somehow lock that to 2D, just pretend it is.
Yeah.
Samus is... I'm sticking with the... Oh, by the way, I'm controlling Samus, and Zach's going to be arguing for Sephiroth.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be saying, once again... End of Dread, end of Super.
Yep.
I'm going to be running around like that and just trying to absolutely obliterate whatever that thing is. Which, lore-wise, this might be the most interesting matchup of the entire roster.
Aside from the Mewtwo fight, yeah.
Even on top of that, because Mewtwo, sure, is a very interesting one. And by the way, I was actually secretly hoping Mewtwo and Sephiroth would get paired up so I could have like a little rant saying like, isn't it weird how these are kind of the same character from different series?
Yeah,
like they're both like these genetically created things from like some sort of alien species made by an evil corporation to try and take over the world, who then rebel against them and try and take over the world themselves.
It's literally the story of Frankenstein.
Yeah, it is. They're both the Frankenstein character. Isn't that just weird? Anyway.
Oh my god,
I thought that was
cool.
Because I didn't realize that till today when we had our roster that we were putting it up there.
Oh yeah.
So anyway,
cool.
If we were just looking at that abomination, and Samus was able to pull this off last time, the difference lore-wise, this is why I thought this was going to be interesting.
Yeah.
You can't really kill Sephiroth. Now, assuming we're actually looking at Sephiroth, like the actual, like, the character you know in Final Fantasy VII. Now, once again, I don't want to get too far into spoil things.
Yeah, because we got the remake coming up,
Yeah, but let me at least just cover, like, oh here, Crisis Core just recently came out again. So assuming you play that, you should know Sephiroth, the guy, is dead. He's not, like, this isn't Sephiroth, the guy. No. This is Sephiroth, the incarnation. That is being, like, almost like...
puppeteered.
Yeah, shown up like an illusion into your mind, and you're fighting that by some overwhelmingly powerful outside other force.
A very eldritch, almost H.P. Lovecraft kind of force.
Yeah, this alien destruction planet-eating monster. And I feel like the only way to truly lore-wise kill Sephiroth is to destroy that monster, which is the source of what he is.
Yes.
If you can't do that, then he's really not... But we're talking about the expert of blowing up planets right now. So...
Oh, she'd do it in a heartbeat if it meant the piece of the galaxy was at stake. Yeah, she'd do it.
Oh yeah, it's not like this woman hasn't eradicated alien species and blown up planets just because. Gone.
She would not even care. She would figure out a way. It's like,
hey, there's plenty more planets out there.
She's like, oh, they figured out how to harness the planet to make Mako. Oh, they made my nukes for me. Thanks, guys.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, just in terms of the action.
Yes.
Okay, so obviously
as a
Samus.
Metroid game,
as a Metroid game.
Another final boss.
Yeah, let's just say, surprise, at the end of Dread, you're trying to do your escape sequence, but Sephiroth from Dissidia shows up, or just some form of Sephiroth shows up, and you're fighting in the Metroid suit. How does that fight go? Aside from Sephiroth screaming the entire time because he's under constant fire of that plasma beam. Well, no, I'm sorry, not plasma beam, hyper beam.
The hyper beam.
Huge difference.
I would say that because even in like something like Dissidia and his stats in Final Fantasy VII, when you look at them during the flashback in the original, his speed stat and evasion is insane.
Yes, so he would be able to probably dodge and outlast this for a while.
Yeah,
he wouldn't be able to do it forever. The thing is, like, Samus can aim instantly with that thing. Now, if you want to get a visual and just like think of this, and if you haven't played any of the Metroid games, I know I'm the Metroid guy. I'm not just pushing Samus here. Think of Samus's Final Smash in this game.
Yes,
it's actually very similar to that, except imagine that's a regular beam. You don't have to fire it. You can literally hold it down. It's a constant stream, and you can free aim anywhere while running and nothing slows you down. That's how powerful it is. With something like that, even if Sephiroth's able to dodge it, if I can free aim exactly as fast and try to match him, now it's a matter of, okay, well, is this game 30 FPS or 60 FPS? The only time that matters.
I think in the original game it was 24.
Super Nintendo? Super Nintendo runs 60.
For Final Fantasy.
Oh, yeah. Next generation, they had to slow that down. But no.
It was like 30 or 60, I think.
And I think Dread is about 30 as well. So even still, it's negligible. It really doesn't matter. That might even be a whole HITBOX episode. Here we go again. Talk about how that doesn't matter. And I've seen people even lately complaining about, like, Tears of the Kingdom, how are people saying it's a good game because the frame rate's not even perfect? It's not even hitting 60 all the time.
I can see where
the resolution isn't even 4K.
I can see it. Okay, as a quick aside, I'm probably going to cut this in the future.
I know.
As a quick aside, I can kind of see where people are coming from for the FPS side of things.
Sure.
For some games.
Some games, sure.
Like a tactical first-person shooter.
But it doesn't weaken the game itself as a whole.
No.
That was my point. That was my point. Okay. We wrapped up that tangent.
Yes.
But that's all I was trying to say.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter.
So anyway, and because it doesn't matter, that's why I don't think that Samus has any hindrance over Sephiroth because of frame rate or something like that.
No, exactly, no. So anyway,
Samus is also ridiculously fast, too.
But
she's way faster than this game is giving her credit.
As a Metroid fight, though, he's got access to not only the Masamune that he's wielding right now.
Ridiculous range.
Yeah, ridiculous. That's a 9-foot-long sword he's got.
That looks a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
Looks more like 15 or so. But he's probably really short.
I think canonically it's supposed to be like 9 feet or something. But
yeah, not in some cutscenes.
I know. Well, that was the early days of 3D, my dude.
Yeah, I know. It's whatever works.
Whatever. But he's got the long range. He's got the ability to dodge and evade like crazy. He has magic. Because of the DNA bull that's going on. He's he's just got a lot, even before you get to his crazy final forms in like the base Final Fantasy 7. Yeah, the Seraph,
even if we're fighting Safer Sephiroth, well, that would be the turn-paced RPG part.
Yeah,
I would think, because I can't really think of how to do that in an action thing, because I don't understand what it is. It's almost weirdly, it kind of reminds me of Mother. We're weirdly on the Mother stage right now, but
we are.
It's kind of like fighting Gygus. You're fighting the background when you're fighting that. You're watching crazy galactic stuff. You don't know what's actually happening.
Yeah, again, you're fighting a literal eldritch god, basically.
You are. And I feel like if any character is competent enough to do it, it's the one I'm controlling right now. That's why this is so hard to figure out.
I know. In terms of a Metroid fight, I would say it's almost equal.
It might be. I'm going to say neither really healed themselves. Sephiroth has a ridiculous HP gauge and just loves to hide behind it, and his evasion is what is going to get you. But the thing is, like, Samus can literally blink around the room too.
Oh, her Aeon
Aeon phase shift.
Yes.
She can do the same thing. This is just Battle of the Titans. I feel like gameplay might even be locked in that, but in terms of firepower, if anything turns the tide is the difference, Sephiroth needs a little more wind-up to attack from afar, versus Samus, who is constantly at full power at any distance.
Yeah.
That might be the only thing the only edge from one character to another. Because here, say some of the hardest fights in Dread, I would phase shift away from the enemy.
Yes.
And just like obliterate them from afar as they try to get back to me again. You do this with Sephiroth. Now, of course, he's super fast. He'll be on top of you. But there's fast enemies in Metroid that are just as quick, too. So
that would be the only slight advantage I'd give. It would be another one of those game tests of skill.
Exactly. I see this, depending on who plays it. I see this, though, as like slightly gamed. If you were like putting, like you had a balanced scale and we were giving like a little coin or something on either side of the scale to try and weigh it in one side or the other. These are so close, but I feel like it very, very slightly tips towards Samus, and it really is based on who's playing it.
I almost kind of feel it's going to be the JRPG aspect that might determine this.
Yes, we might have to move on to that. So moving Samus into a JRPG is going to be tough.
Yeah, because she's going to, I would say at endgame, she's going to have like a terribly scary speed and evasion stat.
Yeah.
Her power is going to be... She's probably like the best... She would be the best all-rounder. And
her defense is ridiculous. Her HP would be ridiculous. Her speed is ridiculous.
Yep.
Her, magic, or special attack
is the magic
gun
in this world,
ridiculous. I would... even her physical attack is. With Dread, she's very much a brawler in that, too.
What would her limit breaks be, I wonder?
If she had a limit break, I have to think about that.
Would it be that Hyper Beam?
I don't know. Then we're really nerfing Samus by doing that.
True,
You know, because that should just be her basic attack. Because that is Samus's, like, I don't have to spend any missiles. This is just my basic attack right now. That's my gun. And if that's her basic move, just to, like, charge and, like, wait for the limit break... I don't know, maybe power bombs or something, if you really wanted to give it something.
Yeah.
Maybe. So, say that's what it is. And Samus is by herself in the Safer Sephiroth fight.
Right, and if we're going with maxed characters...
Anybody by yourself in the Safer Sephiroth fight is inevitably not going to do well.
Right, well, and I was going to say, too, for every single character that's level 99 or level 100 in the original Final Fantasy VII, Sephiroth gets a boost to his stats. So if she's already boosted to max, which she should be...
Which she should be. She should be equipped.
Then, he's going to be even more powerful than that.
Now, reserve tanks are a thing from Super, so even if he does one of his snap my fingers one-shot kill kind of thing...
I would just have that as an auto-revive spell.
That's basically... an auto-revive. She can bring herself right back again. But it only really works the one time. Though, the thing is, her firepower and defenses and speed. So... are so high, even if she's level 100. It's not like any of the characters in Final Fantasy VII were wearing a full spacesuit of armor to let them run faster, jump higher, shoot. Like, imagine Barrett's gun, but instead of bullets, it has that beam coming out of it.
It has freaking laser beams.
It's like Big Shot, but it's a non-stop, like, hypernova.
Yeah.
A flamethrower of death. I can't even imagine how that turn-based works. Like, how do you even put numbers to what's happening there?
That's just it, because it's so hard to quantify the power that the game makes you feel.
I know, and we're talking about an action 2D game versus an RPG. I feel like in this instance, it might be leaning towards Safer Sephiroth, because I feel like he has more of those unfair and status condition stuff. Like, Samus has no answers to status conditions.
No.
None.
And he can cast Barrier, he can cast Reflect, he can cast...
Reflect.
Yes.
Ooh. Can he in that fight? Well, I mean, he still can in general if we were going to switch to another one, but Safer Sephiroth is obviously going to be the one to choose. Yeah. Unless you want the Phase 4. You want to be the Phase 4? you like push the X button and you're done.
Yeah, you win. No,
yeah, you just
that's the emotional victory.
That's the one you need after all that fighting.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, it's something to make you feel better. No, just to even get to that point, it's still like I feel like Samus, as she is statistically, would be about on par with your full party in Final Fantasy VII. But the thing is, she can't cure those status ailments.
No.
Now, do status effects go away after a few turns in Final Fantasy VII?
Yes. It takes a while. But
you gotta deal with it.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, stuff like Reflect and Barrier do eventually wear off after a while, but it does take an awful long time, and you have to work around that.
I wonder what would... Oh, you know what? Because I was just thinking, I think you're right, Samus can't deal with the barrier, but hold on. Ravenbeak. Phase, what is that, 2 or 3 of Ravenbeak?
Yeah.
Where he's just like, no, I have a constant barrier the entire time, you can't touch me.
Yeah.
Constant. Like, you can't do anything to him, and he doesn't even have to recast it, and it's, like, gone for a while.
Yeah.
It is perpetually up. Yeah. The only way to get it to be down for a moment is to, like, clash with the guy and trip him up, and then you basically like, just grab his head and just, like, fire constantly into the guy.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of other boss fights, but no, you make your own opening.
Yes. You can't really do that in a Well, you can. Well, it has to be designed that way.
My point was, even if we're doing the action thing, in that form, Samus can get around that, and I still think Samus would win the action one.
Yes.
The RPG, this is tougher, because now it's just up. Well, even in Metroid Dread, it's just up, and you have to just dodge stuff for a while. Yeah. You can't really dodge things in an RPG. You kind of have to stand there like this as I shoot at you and you shoot at me. But there's nothing... Whoa, no. Oh. That's a big bad. I don't want to get hit by that one.
Sorry, my bad.
But still, we just basically fire off rounds at each other.
That's what we'd be doing.
And if Reflect really is a thing, I would only be harming myself, unless you think a Power Bomb. That's physical damage, maybe?
It might be enough, I would guess.
If that's physical damage, I would really just switch to those instead, or missiles should really be physical as well. Though the barrier that Ravenbeak puts up blocks literally everything. And I'm saying if Samus has already done enough to take care of that, but that was in 2D.
I'm not sure. It almost feels like a stalemate, kind of, in terms of just gameplay.
Yeah.
Although, honestly, even in terms of gameplay, look at everything, I guess, that you overcome. Now, I know the game is designed for you to win. The game is going to always be constantly in the player's favor.
Sephiroth is designed to be beaten.
Correct.
And Samus was not designed to be beaten.
Correct,
That form was not designed to be beaten. And so, I'm trying to translate that into... I mean, can you imagine how absurd this is? I'm imagining Saber Sephiroth, but instead you have in the foreground, facing him, your character is a PS1 model of the Metroid suit, and it's standing there, and it is non-stop holding the beam down.
Yeah, like, whenever you go to attack, it's like...
It's just like...
Yeah. I would almost say because of that hyper beam...
I don't know what it does to him. That's the thing. Like, in seconds, it completely obliterated things that were supposed to be indestructible.
Yeah, but you're dealing with more physical things, whereas Safer Sephiroth is, as I interpret it, not completely corporeal.
But enough that you could defeat it and like, get it out of your head. If he's in your head. I think he kind of has to be a little in your head to... fight it, but I don't know, because you can bring, like, Tifa and Barrett, who have no way
he's
to...
corporeal enough that they can see him.
Yeah, that's true.
Him,
so if Samus is seeing him, there's something she can physically destroy.
Yes.
And if it can melt... if it can melt, I think...
I think Samus probably will.
I think that's one of those 999999999 beams that just keeps going and going and going and going and...
I think it's just one of those ones where it's just she would eke out a victory.
Yeah.
This would be probably... Honestly,
the hardest
aside
fight.
From you two,
probably the hardest fight she's ever done.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, Barrier does nothing. and because we don't know what happens if you use the Hyper Beam against Ravenbeak's barrier. I don't know if someone has tried modding that in, but even still, the game, it wasn't designed to test this.
The game would probably crash.
Yeah, it would probably crash. It hasn't been designed to test whatever that is.
Yeah.
So if that's really that, this is an unstoppable force, immovable object situation, and I already see you positioning yourself near the edge, and I can't believe that Sephiroth is about to go over that edge. But I think you're about to go over that edge.
I think so, because I don't really see, because I don't want to just argue this forever.
Yeah.
And my other thing too is like, Samus just always usually seems to have the thing she needs.
She can't. The one thing that I'm really shocked that she's still in here is she can't heal herself.
She can't heal herself.
Aside from the one reserve tank thing, I think she can get what, 4 of them, so it only brings 4 tanks back. But it's like if you had an insta kill, she at least has 4 tanks, and 4 tanks go a long way.
And it's a while before that insta kill would just be used again if it was.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So Sephiroth would have to get away with it twice. And if he's sitting there and dealing with constant... Are you serious?
I think so.
How did this happen? I am not rigging this.
Because we couldn't decide between Samus and Sephiroth, because I think it might have been a more interesting battle, but then again, I don't know how that would have
I don't think Sephiroth would have won. But anyway, somehow this turned around. All of that time, all of these fights has seriously just turned down to the final 2. Ridley versus Samus.
Sure, whatever, fine.
It looks like I'm Ridley.
I'm Samus.
But no, you're designed to kill me in every game. I don't have anything against you. Unfortunately, this is not a very interesting one for me to argue.
That's the terrible part.
Also, Ridley has even for the sake of trying to make it more interesting. Let's just say that I'm actually playing as Sephiroth. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Not
You're
Sephiroth.
actually playing.
You're playing as Sephiroth.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
So, because it's Samus. Samus is ridiculous, unstoppable, way too powerful in terms of the gameplay. If you don't believe me, it's not just me. Play Metroid Dread, play Super Metroid.
Oh my god.
I promise. There is nothing in any game that you can control that will ever be more powerful than that.
You may feel that.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you might, at the end of like a Kirby game or something absolutely stupid, where you do all sorts of ridiculous
Kirby
nonsense.
Games are just ridiculous.
They are. But even
Holy
Kirby
Jeebus.
went down to this thing. But still, Sephiroth, actually, Sephiroth versus Ridley, Sephiroth would totally win. I think in both instances, Ridley would slowly run around the room and fly and stuff. Sephiroth is way faster, way stronger.
He'd cut him down
He would just
quick.
Yeah, and then if you're doing turn-based, now Ridley can't even move.
No.
And yeah, so that would be a slaughter. So it really was. The Battle of the Titans was Samus versus Sephiroth.
That would have been better. This feels a little anticlimactic.
This not being the final fight. It was random.
Yeah,
it was
no,
random.
that's the
Also,
problem,
you know what? We're running out of time anyway, and I can't believe this happened.
Hey, old friend.
Hey,
remember
what's
me?
going on there? Oh, right. I'm still a heavyweight.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
yeah, right here in the butt. Right here in the butt. I'll give you a free one. No, just kidding. I'm gonna do it myself. Well, that was kind of anticlimactic because Ridley just destroyed the other half of the.
Yeah.
Beats the Pokemon trainer. But Samus is simply just too much.
She is probably one of the most OP characters Nintendo has made.
Or probably the most.
I'd almost argue Kirby getting to that point, but...
in my head, Kirby would probably end up like an X-Parasite immediately.
He would absorb it and take on the X-Parasite's powers. Wait, he's a parasite to a parasite.
Well, here, hold on. That's not what I was thinking. I meant like he would melt, but...
not
well,
like Kirby.
he would, unfortunately, but I was thinking, like, what happens then if you have, like, the ridiculous, like... I'm not spoiling it. The end of Metroid Dread. That happens, but Kirby is, like, inhaling this and takes on that ability. Or Kirby absorbs Samus.
Oh
Poof.
my god.
But still...
You would just get the space helmet ability at that point.
Yeah. So, when I first assumed that, hey, we're doing only a few matches this time, it'll be nice and short.
No.
We'll just take the victor and run around the whole roster, and just to quickly make sure that we really picked the strongest one, just to affirm, like, Mario, yes. Donkey Kong, yes. Link, yeah, you'd beat that. Just to make sure, like, we picked the one that would actually beat all of them.
Yeah.
Just to help us with time, but that looks like that's not necessary. Also, I don't think it would matter, honestly.
No.
I mean, if you drop anybody in a room with that thing, that monstrosity, they're dead in an instant. If they don't melt in an instant, assuming they have, like, you know, Mega Man's time stop, or they have witch time. Some way to instantly freeze time or teleport away and dodge. And try and somehow deal with, you know, the most powerful armor in the galaxy, the fastest, the most power. What are you gonna do?
Even without the hyper beam, even with like her,
even if we just maxed her out and just gave her like the best gravity suit, you know, all the super missiles,
like I said, like
power bombs,
the combined like space or wave beam, wave plasma, ice beam or whatever, before you get the hyper beam and all that.
She could probably do it, even if we were saying, oh, we're just gonna stick to like Metroid Prime.
Yeah. She's got a flamethrower with her.
She has a literal flamethrower that shoots missiles in the flamethrower, by the way. That's the way that it works.
It is so good.
No, she is just way too strong.
Oh my God.
But at least it kind of makes me happy. Somehow Metroid ended up beating everybody. I'm very surprised, because I thought when we were doing this early on, I was like, you know what? This is just going to boil down to all the RPG characters winning.
Again,
Yeah, and somehow it didn't.
Yeah, it came close.
It did. It came really close. And I'm glad we had some interesting fights in there. So just to like announce a new thing that we would like to do coming forward, kind of using Smash Brothers again, we would like to make some fun proposition videos where we talk about what we would make for new Smash Brothers Fighter passes. Obviously, they're not still making these, but this is just something for either ideas of new games that they could do in the future. Honestly, there are so many cool video game characters that would work well, like very well in Smash Brothers. You could make another whole game, Super Smash 2, whatever, call it something else that makes it implies that it's another thing. And it has the same roster count as this game, and not a single character returns, and they're all new.
Smash 6, Switch 2.
Smash 6y.
There we go.
You put all of the... of course, I was going to say 69 or some 69 joke, but you know, the base roster of Smash Ultimate has 69 characters. Just saying. Anyway, so if you actually made a whole new one, you could fill the entire roster with new characters, and it would still be a really cool and well-representing game.
You know what we should call that series? Hi, I'm here to sell you on.
Or just some sort of like Smash Fighters Pass. We'll figure it out when we get there. But just to let you know, we're gonna do themes for those, just to try and keep it like in order. So, and also just so people don't say like, what about this? What about that? We'll get there. We'll try. There are so many that you can add.
I have played hundreds of video games in my life, literal hundreds. I don't have the time to play everything. Okay.
Nobody does. That's the secret.
Jeebus.
It's the secret. So we're gonna do, say, like a Nintendo pass, a Capcom pass, a Square Enix pass, and we might even branch out from there and say like, oh, you know, Square Enix doesn't cover, like, I wanted more than Square Enix. Let's say we'll also do a Final Fantasy pass, and no Final Fantasy characters go in the Square Enix one. Same for Nintendo, and do one with like just Pokemon if you really wanted to cover that out. You know, just make whole passes about that, and we'll have a whole video where we're gonna I'm gonna try and sell you on a character. I'll tell you what their specials are gonna be, and we'll start with a trailer. So like talking about how they're gonna get revealed first, and then we'll talk about the character themselves. So I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, boardroom meeting. That's what we could probably call it.
The only thing that I wasn't concerned about was what to call it.
I'm concerned now.
You know what I'm thinking? HITBOX, and it's gonna be whatever the number.
Oh my God! We're just gonna
keep calling it HITBOX. How about we do with that?
Oh my God, you're a genius.
And, well, how about that? It's a great idea. Maybe we should start a podcast.
Oh, we should.
We should start a Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of HITBOX. If you enjoyed the show, you can help us keep it alive by supporting us on Patreon with the links in the show notes and this video's description. And for those of you on YouTube, remember to like the video and subscribe for more. And be sure to let us know what you thought of the show and what other topics you'd like to hear us cover in the future. And special thanks to all of our amazing Patreon members.
See you.